Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Now, I'm going to make this quick as possible. Last week I did not post any videos and this is why. Number one, I had a family member, fell down the stairs, busted her foot, and ended up with blood clots. And blood clots to this individual are very deadly. So I was at the emergency room and I was in constant contact with this individual. And I'm happy to say she's home already, healing up and doing nicely, and I'm so happy to hear that news. Number two, my computer's on the fritz again. The machine was top of the line in 2011, but here we are almost a decade later, and there's only so many things I could update or add components to until the motherboard and CPU just go, listen, I don't know what any of this crap is, we weren't built for this. And now it's coming to the point where it just shuts off, and it's a pain in the butt. So I gotta save up for that. Now, speaking of saving up, a lot of people have been telling me to do Patreon. And I'm familiar with it, but I never used it or clicked on it. So I don't know exactly how it runs. But I did shoot the idea out to Facebook and Instagram, and some people gave me feedback. And it was overwhelming. People were going, oh yeah, I'll donate this per month, I'll donate that per month. And it blew me away. The generosity and the thoughts you guys have is amazing. It really is, and it means a lot to me. Now, having said all that, I do have to stress that if I did take the Patreon path, none of that money will go towards my personal gain. It would all go towards the channel. Mostly production stuff. Lights, camera, backdrop, maybe a new table, because this one's getting flimsy. A new computer, obviously. Extra funds would go into different items you guys wanted me to review, but obviously I can't afford. You know, like most of you, I have a job and I had tons of bills. And it's life, you know, there's nothing you could do about it, but, you know, if I did choose to go Patreon, it definitely would help me in more ways than one. So, if you have any feedback that you want to send me about these topics, please write it in the comments below. I will read it and I will get back to you. I want to hear from all of you about this, because this is a big change. This is going to change different things here and there. For example, in a tier, there could be people that donate money that get to choose what I review. And different things like that. So, you guys are the reason why I'm still here. So, hearing from you does mean a lot. But anywho, I'll put that aside and let's get back to the review. Today I'm going to be looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Resistance Troop Transport. Now, the Troop Transport was first seen in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And technically, this section here with the cockpit was seen in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, doing research on these ships, like I normally do, I found out that these vessels here are built from many different pieces of other ships from different wars. Mainly, the cockpit section right here is taken right from a B-Wing Mark II, which we have not seen yet on screen. Hopefully one day we will. And this particular ship, as the name suggests, is mainly used to transport troops from point A to point B. This long section here, the doors open up, and the troops run out. It's actually a really neat design. I actually like it quite a bit. So looking at this model, for the size, it's a little under 3.5 inches wide and about 1.5 inches long, which is pretty good. So we do have a lot to cover today. We're going to look at the mold, the paint, put on a stand compared to some other ships, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Alright, kicking this review off, looking at the mold, like always, we'll go over the main sections of the vessel first, and then get nice and close to show off all these details. First of all, in the center here, we have our troop cabin, and the front here, some people call it a hatch, a door. The bottom flaps open this way, the top upwards, and all the troops run out. Very interesting and very detailed. Lots of nice little line work and modules. Great stuff. Here we have our cockpit. Fin on the side. On the bottom, there's supposed to be a auto blaster or a laser cannon, but there's nothing there. But pretty cool nonetheless. In the back, we have our engines on the left and right sides. Pretty cool. Lots of little details in here. And these are actually modules. So in The Last Jedi, this here is the vessel that Finn would take with Rose. So that's pretty interesting. I wish we would have this blown up to have a bigger model, but it is what it is. Now on this side, we have our weapons module. And in this section, apparently we have a laser cannon, an ion cannon, and even proton torpedoes, which I'm guessing would be from this section here, but I may be wrong, but it's interesting. I love the idea that you can customize these. It's pretty sick. On the side, some great details. And on the bottom, we have 3 rivets holding it together, connector port for the stand, copyright crap, and some molded details. On the whole, a nicely done ship. So now let's get a close-up. Okay, starting with our closer look here, we'll begin with the cabin section / cockpit. Here we have a plastic fin. Pretty nice. Moves a little bit, but not too bad. Then we have the main body. Lots of little modules, recesses, paneling, lines. Very good stuff here. A lot of nice detail. For our cockpit windows, nicely molded and painted. It's not that bad. Coming around to the side. Beautiful stuff. Look at that line work here. That is amazing. Love the little ovals in here too. I don't know, I just have a thing for line work. I think that looks great. Coming on to the back, we have our engine, which this should be a little recessed, but it is what it is. Not too bad. On the top, like I mentioned before, little raised section with recessing, paneling, awesome stuff. Now for the back, we have what looks to be a piston and some locking mechanisms. Great molding there. On the back of the troop cabin, some recesses, little lines. Beautiful stuff. I love all the detail on here. And then we have more locking the mechanisms and different doodads here. Engine for the weapons pod. On the top of the weapons pod, we have another fin. Again, little plastic. Pretty strong, but I wouldn't mess with it. Molded on top of that fin right here, or I should say the base. Line work. More modules. Now these are supposed to carry an R2 unit or some sort of astromech. This might be it, but I don't have any confirmation of that, but it looks just like an astromech head, so it could be. These are supposed to carry one with the troops, so take that as you will. But look at all these lines. I love the rectangle with the oval. Beautiful stuff. The grate here. Love this piece. And then we have the front with the spheres, the hose, the oval. Our 2 barrels for the ion cannon and laser cannon. Awesome stuff. On the side, not too much to write home about. We do have some rectangles that are raised. Lots of nice molding. For the bottom of the ship, it's mostly line work. So you can see all the lines here. Copyright crap are rivets. One was up here, one in the center. Stand connector port. Another rivet. And I love these squares here. Now this square and this square should be the landing gear, but that's not out. But it's okay, you get a stand, so it's alright. More line work. Just an amazing job. And this ship's really rare, so it's hard to find it unless you get that pack. But so worth it. Now in the front, look at all that. Great stuff. Tons of paneling and line work. Little modules. Here we have the door. Amazing stuff. And for the top, the line work and paneling continues. And I love all the little raised squares here. And also in the back. Fantastic stuff. It really is. Reminds me of something out of Star Trek right here. And there's another one of those spheres that could be a droid. Who knows? Hopefully they make a book that tells you every part of here. Because that would be great. And back to the back. Nice. And that does it for the mold of the Resistance Troop Transport. A fantastic ship. Very rare. It took me a long time to find it. But I'm so glad I did. And I love the little history behind it. How it's different parts of different ships. Amazing stuff. Now I did bring up that these half hemispheres in the weapons module in the back could be astromech droids. And they very well could be. However, with all the data I collected and books I read about this vessel, all the astromech droids are located with the troops in the cabin right here. So take that as it is, but regardless, a great looking ship. So now let's take a look at the paint. Now when it comes to the paint of the Resistance Troop Transport, we only have 4 different colors here. First one up is a nice light gray, and I think that was a great color choice. painted very nicely. The plastic on the bottom matches the paint pretty well, as you can see. Right on. Second color we have is blue. And I love the shade of blue. It matches the X-Wing and A-Wing from the same era. And I love what they did here. They gave it a couple details to make it look beat up. And that came out amazing. Let's get a close-up of that. And then next we have red. So let's take a look at that real quick. And just check out the detail on that little square there. Awesome. And finally we have glossy black for the cockpit. On the sides here, which looks very cool. And then this little window right here on the right hand side. Pretty cool. I really like the paint job. Of course, it would have looked great with a little black wash to fill in all these nooks and crannies, but for what it is, it's not that bad. So that does it for the mold and the paint. So now, let's put this baby back on the stand compared to some other ships, and then we'll be done. And just like most Hot Wheels ships, it comes with a cool translucent stand. Pegging into port, hear that click, and you're good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Resistance Troop Transport. I have it next to the Resistance A-Wing. Very nice looking ship, like this one a lot. And on the far right hand side we have the Resistance X-Wing. A neat design, a little thick in the winds, but not too bad. Some great looking ships here. For another size comparison with the Resistance Troop Transport, I have it next to a B-Wing Starfighter, also by Hot Wheels. Some interesting looking designs here. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Resistance Troop Transport. Again, this ship was first seen in Star Wars The Force Awakens, and I guess you could say a little bit in The Last Jedi. And for the size, it's a little under 3.5 inches wide and 1.5 inches long, which is pretty interesting. Now, ever since I saw this ship, I was drawn to it. I love ships that are unique and different than anything we've seen before, and this certainly fits the bill. So once I found out Hot Wheels made one, I've been on the hunt. Sadly, this ship is part of an 11-pack, and it was very pricey. But luckily, I found it on BestBuy.com for $9.99 and I jumped on it. And is it worth it? Absolutely. Hot Wheels did an amazing job with this particular vehicle. Mold-wise, beautiful line work, excellent modules as we've seen looking at it. The fine details are very impressive. And now for the paint, beautiful light gray. The blue is done perfectly with that nice detail that makes it look worn. The glossy black for the cockpit windows, nicely done. And you can't forget about that red, which when we zoomed in, beautiful details. That's all I gotta say about that. So awesome job. And like always, you get that nice translucent stand that blends it in with the rest of the collection, and that's great for me. Now, if you're looking to buy this bad boy, I would suggest checking BestBuy.com right now. They have them on sale for about $9.99 each. And if you can't find it there, check Amazon, check eBay, check anywhere. And just be patient and keep an eye out. Sooner or later, you will find it. And when you do, it is a great set. It comes with a bunch of ships from The Last Jedi and 2 golden ships, the Ski Speeder and the ATM-6, which is pretty cool. So I recommend this ship for anybody who's a fan of the sequel trilogy, the Resistance, or interested in looking spaceships. So that's everything I have to say about this unique and beautiful ship today. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody!